you are a woman on a mission.
I
You
am.
are the creator of the Dream Big Summit, which I had
Mhm.
the great honor to speak at last year. And so our paths have been connected for a short while now. And
Yes,
so when I said, hey, would you be willing to play and be coached by me while others are a fly on the wall? You said, yeah.
absolutely.
So let me tell you just a little bit about what I envision for this conversation today.
Okay.
So, what I do is deep coaching and I coach around insight. So, I'm going to create the space where we can go really deep together if you want. You can always choose to hold back if you don't want to go in a certain direction. um, I blocked the next 45 or so minutes for you. And that doesn't mean that we need to use all of those 45 minutes. You might have an insight midway through that gives you what you need and has you leaving the call feeling full of inspiration and energy and excitement for what's to come next. Does that work for you?
It does. I'm looking forward to it.
Great. So let's play. What's on your mind today?
Oh goodness. It's, the beginning of the year, everybody's making their resolutions and goal setting and, we're fired up. And I know briefly we were talking about following up and the importance of following up. I just want to start out by saying just that I love Stephanie, people. I love Stephanie. We met maybe a year and a half ago or so. Um, at a networking event. And, we just followed up and stayed connected with one another. And she talked about the Dream Big summit that we did last year. Actually, it was February of last year. So I am the co-creator of that, and it was an awesome event. Just Stephanie opened us up, and I was like, Stephanie's got to open us up, just because of her energy and how she just speaks with people in regards to her coaching, the action steps, and it's just like I can do that. It's been a whirlwind of an event since that time period. So that was, and I won't forget it. So it was Saturday, February 2nd. And, the event went down. It was a fabulous event. And I was pumped up. And then that Tuesday, I believe that Tuesday was February 5th, I was rear ended in a car accident. So that kind of put me out for a couple of months as I was recuperating, going through therapy, physical therapy, chiropractor, so all of that. And right now I'm just in monthly treatments. So, just coming from being on that high and, ready to set the year off and then just wham, things can change in an instant. And, how do you bounce back from that? So the momentum. So that's just kind of one of the things that's kind of got me thinking with my goal setting for this year, and how we're so excited, and then that one thing happens and it throws everything off. So and I know I have different areas that I um, focus on at the beginning of the year. I'm in the gym. I'm like, oh, I'm going. I look at my Planet Fitness um, activity, and I'm like, yes, I went there. And then it's just like 2 months later, it's like I haven't been there in 2 months. So, I guess for me, kind of the coaching, I guess it can go in all areas of my life, personal life, health and wealth and business. It's the beginning of the year. How do you keep the momentum going?
What does momentum mean to you?
Mm, to constantly be going, to not letting my foot off the gas. And, because even if you slow down for a little bit, you got to work really hard to get back to where you were. And I know sometimes it's like the mindset. So, the mind can go up and down, depending on where I am in the day. It's just like I'm on fire, and then it just kind of goes down to a little flame. So that's kind of what momentum is to me. And I admit, when things are going great, of course I'm feeling fantastic. But when I have a couple of um, things that are thrown into the fire, a little bit of water, it can plummet. I'm going to be serious, it can plummet. So, I know mindset is so very important in every aspect of life. So, what do you do to kind of keep it even or to shoot it back up when you see that it's not going the way that you want it?
Hmm. So, what I know about you, Erica, is you are a woman of triumph and tribulation. You've been through a lot,
Hmm.
and there always seems to be a way that you make it back to the top, no matter what. So, how do you do that? Inspire us all. How have you managed to navigate this roller coaster of life? Because let's be honest, there might never be a time where it is a constant harmonization where
Mm.
everything is clicked in. Sometimes we're striving and we're reaching for that. But what if the reality is that it's just full of highs and lows? And the sparkle is really in navigating all of it in your
Mm.
way.
I guess when you say that, um, I have heard that success is not always sparkly. It is just a set of routine, mundane acts that are done day in and day out. Um, but you just always look for the sparkly. That shiny, what's that? The shiny something syndrome. Oh, what's that? What's that? Um, so I guess what I try to do is I'm a big analytical person. I can plan a crap out of stuff. Now I can plan stuff, but that don't necessarily mean I execute all the time. But I always go back to, I kind of drill back. This is what my goal is, and this is what I need to do in order to get there. So that kind of brings me always back to, okay, Ericka, what is it that you want? What is it that you're looking for? And I ramp it up back from that because I said, I know if I did it before, I can do it again. But I guess you just kind of answered that by saying not everything is going to be even keel all the time. So I guess it's just kind of going in knowing that it's just like, okay, I don't have to keep it high all the time, and that it's just going to be highs and lows or ebbs and flows, however it's called. So yeah, just having a different way of looking at things. Like it doesn't always have to be up, 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 up. It would be nice.
One of my first mentors told me that I'm uncomfortable with the messy.
Mm.
And what I recognize in you that I see in myself is we are eternal optimists. And for me, when it doesn't feel sparkly and happy and good, it doesn't feel good. And so it's often about learning to feel good when it's not good.
Mm. That's a mindset.
Finding comfort in the discomfort,
Mm.
which often ends up giving us our greatest areas of growth. It's often our growth edge, right? So I wonder for you, maybe it's just about being more comfortable in the uncomfortable.
And comfortable in the uncomfortable, being uncomfortable in the mess. Yeah, I got that would be a change. Because I guess in what I do, it isn't always clean and clear cut because it's different for everybody. And, I'm looking at just a lot of different things when I, as a financial coach, and I'm looking at many people's financial situation, and some are a mess and some are not. Um, so I guess in that aspect where I'm an expert and I know what that end outcome is going to be, I'm very comfortable in that aspect. But it's just kind of like if I don't know what that's all going to be looking like, then I can shy away from that because I don't know. I want to plan everything out. But I guess if I just kind of step back and said, okay, Ericka, not everything is going to be clear cut the way you want it.
And it's not really you, it's your mind. It's the part of your brain that loves a good plan.
Mm-hmm. Who doesn't, Stephanie?
Plan allows us to relax a little bit. It
Mm-hmm.
allows us to take a breath. And yet we're not always going to be able to have a plan and work
Mm-hmm.
towards the plan. That's just life. That's business. That's ebb and flow.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So what would you really love to create this year? If we were to have this conversation a year from today and you were to tell me, oh my gosh, Steph, it was the best year personally and professionally of my life, what would you say?
Oh goodness. Well, I guess for me, I've made some goals for this year on both the professional and the personal side. So my personal side is to be healthier, and part of that is losing weight. Um, I've been through different programs and lost the weight and put it back on. So it's a thing of what is going to be that key that makes me stick to it, to have that stick to itiveness. So for me, it is, I know it's a gradual process. So uh, to lose that weight over this year period, to at the end of 2020 when I'm 50, to say, hey, I worked it slow and steady this year and I hit my goals for weight loss, and also for healthier eating, because I am out in the fields a lot. I find it very easy to go to fast food places, and so I know that's also part of the problem when you're trying to lose weight and be healthy, but you're out in the field, is to have those uh, being prepared. That's probably key for me. That should probably be my word for the year: prepared. And so I guess that's also part of my professional goal as well, is to help a minimum of 100 families. And so that is also me being prepared, regardless of where I'm at any given time of day, being on point and ready and able to help people. So yeah, that's a good word for me for this year. Being prepared and just knowing that at the end of this year, beginning of next year, to say I hit those goals because I was prepared and I stayed the race and I got comfortable being uncomfortable in the mess.
Oh,
Because it's going to be messy when you're trying to do things, especially in business. What I've come to know over the past several years. So, uh, yeah, that's a good start.
growing and change is always messy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That it certainly is, talking about changes, um, as I think back over this past year and the changes that have come through for me. One is a physical change, and that is my diagnosis with vitiligo last year. And so that was definitely a change because it's visible, so coming from having the same face for 40 plus years, and then you wake up one day and it's different. So just kind of going through um, those ebbs and flows of, if anybody is familiar or not with vitiligo, it's, discoloration of the skin and losing your pigmentation. And so just waking up and saying, oh, there's another spot, so there's a change. So it's every single day working on your mindset to know that, okay, there's some changes going on and you have zero control over it. And sometimes that's how it is in business. You think you got something and it changes. And so it's just a very conscientious to have that mindset, that positive mindset, that positive energy, and just know that even though things are changing on the inside or the outside, that you just got to be comfortable in the uncomfortableness of it, and just go with the flow.
Mm.
Hmm.
So you asked just a couple minutes ago about staying motivated.
Hmm.
And it sounds like you already know what to do. You already have the answer to that.
It's
Because
on Google.
when we think about going with the flow
Mhm.
and and navigating the change and being
Mhm.
resilient, that was really your 2019, right?
Mhm.
You went from creating and delivering this incredible experience with your summit and then had your accident,
Mhm.
and all the while you were navigating the emotions of this diagnosis, and yet you still found a way to maintain momentum. Maybe it looked a little different than it would have had the diagnosis and the accident not happened, but you still maintained a version of momentum. Would that be true?
I guess that is true. I was working through the mess. So yes, perseverance, to just know that it's happening, is going to happen. What can I do? If I can do something, and this is what I tell anybody that I'm speaking with. A situation happens and you have two choices. You can look at it and say, I'm going to let this run all over me. Or you can say, if I can do anything to change it, let me do that. And if I can't do anything to change it, I'm going to keep moving. And so I guess subconsciously, I do that. I look at things and I'm very analytical and say, okay, if it's something that can be changed, let's do it. If not, okay, let's keep it moving.
So knowing this, I'm going to challenge your search, your quest for motivation, because you are already one of the most motivated people I know. And that lives intrinsically in here for you.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely have to keep going. How I even got into the business, and that's from about 20 years ago, 1998. So my son, his father was killed, and we didn't have life insurance. So the families working together to get this funeral going. My son is 6 at the time. And so, funeral went off, and because of the financial decisions that I had made, I ended up having to file bankruptcy. And so it was a devastating time, because here's me coming from having A1 credit to filing bankruptcy because of the financial decisions that I made. And then it was a couple years into the bankruptcy, I was like, how do you even get to this point? And I realized that I had made it because I had made it based on a yes when I should have said no. And that's really kind of when I got started to talking to women in general about the importance of having life insurance, the importance of having a will, but the importance of having self confidence. And that's kind of been my thing from that time period on, is getting the education out there when it comes to our financial situation. And that's kind of what keeps me going, especially as a single mom. Now, I did have support from both sides of the family, so that was a tremendous help. So if there's anybody out there, you need support, go to your family. Don't have pride when it comes to that. So that's kind of what got me going and kept my momentum going, because I know that it's not a great subject to talk about, but I've seen the outcome of families who have life insurance versus those who don't have life insurance. So that's what keeps me motivated and keeps me going, is that we need to be educated when it comes to these things. And that's what gets me up and keeps me going, because
And
it's been messy.
we say yes to the mess.
Yes.
So this goal, this professional goal of helping 100 families this year, that sounds pretty extraordinary. Tell me more about that. What will all of that mean? What will that look like?
So for me, I'm big, very big on education. And so I know that from my own personal experience, if you have one family member who is educated, that can trickle throughout the entire family. So even though it's 100 families, one family at a time, that one family, that one person can change the whole dynamic of their entire family line. So whether it's their parents or their children, grandchildren, it just goes further than that one family. But just the impact that having that knowledge, having that education can make with people. So that is just my starting goal, is just to be able to be out there helping people getting the education out there, because it is so key of how it can literally change your life when you have that education.
Hmm. So this goal is really even bigger than how you initially put it. You want to work with 100 families, but you're really going to be impacting generations within families.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I know for me, even with my son, when back during that time period, we were able to get Social Security survivors benefits for him. But my thing was, okay, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? So I'm just spending money on my son. But because I didn't have that education back then. But if I would have had somebody giving me the education saying, okay, you can do some of those things, but why don't you save and invest for your son's future? His life would be different now. My life would be different now. But I know we go through our things for a purpose. But if the education is there, how many lives, and as you said, generations can be impacted just by one piece of information. It can just literally change lives. And that's what my ultimate goal is. It's just ultimately touching thousands of people's lives because of something that's so simple. Yes, you can get financial education online. Um, but the fact of the matter is, it's just like with weight loss, and there's a lot of information out there, but we still have an obesity epidemic. We still have, in the financial world, we still have a debt epidemic. We have just a lot of different sources out there, but we still have a problem on the back end. So there's a disconnect there, and I'm here to fill in the gap for that disconnect. And that's by meeting with people face to face, being a personal coach to them, letting them know you can change your life. You just need a little push sometimes. You need somebody who is telling you there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope. You can get out of debt. You can change your life. You can go to college. You can send your children to college with the proper planning. So that is what my goal is, and it's just very emotional for me when I talk about it. Because I know for myself from personal experience.
Hmm. There are a lot of people that are committed to their goals, and commitment doesn't always equal result or execution
Hmm.
on the goal. When you add urgency to the commitment, that is what drives the end result. And so with you, I hear this commitment to this goal, but I also hear the urgency.
Hmm.
You feel like this is something that is um, you've been called to do. You've been called to lead the charge in this, and this is your mission, your divine mission for this year. And there's really nothing that will stop you.
It is my ministry. I have that in my bio. So, and I guess kind of what I talked about with the momentum, even though it's up and down sometimes, that's what keeps me going, is that it is my ministry. I love what it is that I get to do. It's actually one of my spiritual gifts. My top spiritual gift is teaching. So that is something that I get to do every single day when I help people.
So I think what feels good to do now is to put the idea of momentum and motivation in the dump truck, and we're going to send the dump truck off to the landfill.
Okay.
Would you be down to do that?
Ooh. Okay. I'm open. I'm game. It's 2020.
So the momentum that you think you need and the motivation that you think you need, that is going in the dump truck. It's making its way to the landfill. That is not in Ericka's neighborhood anymore.
Okay. I'm moving on up.
So, what next? Like, is this, I like to look at, as morbid as it is, I like to look at deathbed, dreams. And so 50, 60 years from now, and you're laying in bed and you're looking back on your life, is this it? Is this the piece for you that truly fills your soul? If you're able to bring this work to more families and impact generations within families, is this why Ericka is here?
It absolutely is. If I can look back over my life and see the families that I've touched, the generations that have been changed by what it is that I did, that what God has gifted me to do, it is absolutely, it's going to be an awesome feeling, an awesome experience to know it's way, way bigger than me. And just with a little bit of education and a little bit of coaching, if I'm able to touch thousands and thousands of lives that I won't even live to know about. But when people are talking to their grandchildren and, they're saying, my grandmama has, she started me on this road, it's all going to be worth it. Definitely.
So this is legacy. This is your legacy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it started with my own.
Mm. So in the next 30 days, what would be the most powerful step that you can take forward on this legacy?
Well, I guess I'm starting right now. So I'm going to be on a panel on this Saturday coming up. So talking about relationships and finances and a couple of other things. So just me continuing to get out there and get the word out and speaking at as many places that I can to just get the education out there. So that is over the next 30 days to just keep it going.
Yeah.
I know that's the new year and resolution, so I definitely got to get through the first 30 days.
One day at a time.
That is true.
And what are the potential dangers or roadblocks that could come into picture that could take you off path? Is there anything within your scope or your radar that you could that come to mind?
That can take me off track. Not so much that I can think of right now, because I guess at this point, I'm pretty pumped up about this year. I hear a lot of people talking about, we can see clearly now. But it's just funny because you can look at it in a couple of ways. It's like a new day, a new month, a new decade, but what is really going to change from what we did um, from one night to the next. And so it's not these major changes that occur, it's, as you said, one day at a time. My nephew recently turned 18. And so it's just kind of like, what do we teach our children where it's just supposed to be this miraculous thing? You go to sleep at 17 and 18, you're an adult. It's just like, it's everything that led up to that point. So, nothing, just to keep in my mind, nothing happens overnight. Um, it's just a day-to-day process. So don't get caught up in uh, helping 100 families in 1 month. So I guess just kind of thinking about what we've talked about, our conversation here today, is just to just know, take it one day at a time. And go with the ebbs and flows, and don't get discouraged if I don't get to the gym 3 times in a week, um, so or appointments don't go through as planned. So just keep going, because it's a lot bigger than me and my pity parties.
Mm. It's such a good perspective to have. And it's such a powerful paradigm shift as well. And especially for high achievers, it can sometimes be the best recipe to slow down
Mm,
in order to speed up.
wow. Yeah, that's pretty profound. You got to slow down to speed up. So sometimes you just gotta take a look at what you're doing in order to get that momentum, to get that race back up, as opposed to just plowing through it.
Yes.
Yeah, so good stuff.
We love to have these long to-do lists, and I find that the beauty is really in highlighting those 3 things that if you do them first thing in your day, the rest of your day, you wouldn't even have to do anything else because you did those 3 things
Hmm.
that had the biggest impact towards what you're working toward.
For me, and I guess just recently I finished reading a book called The Magic. So it talked about gratitude every single day, 10 things that I'm grateful for. So that is one thing, to start out my day with gratefulness. The other is to get a workout going on, and the other is to just set my to-do list, things that are, as you mentioned, urgent. So those would be my 3 things.
Hmm, beautiful.
Yeah, because I know when I consistently did it every single day, something to be grateful for, there was really nothing that could bring me down on those days, because I started out my day with that gratefulness. Now, why I stopped doing it every day, I don't know. It was like, oh, 28 days over. But, to just, and I don't know why people stop that, but I guess that's something for a whole nother show. When something's going good and then you stop. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so those are 3 things that, when I laid my head down at night, I would be like, this has been a fantastic day.
Gratitude is the highest frequency, emotional frequency that we can emanate.
Mm.
I want to say it's like 700 on the frequency scale, whereas emotions like shame and fear and guilt are the lowest.
Mhm,
And so
mhm.
when we look at law of attraction, it's really true. It's rooted in science, and that when we're vibrating and our primary energy is gratitude, that will bring you back. It will send back more things for you to be grateful for.
Yes,
It's this
yes.
beautiful, beautiful cycle.
Mhm.
There's an app, a free app that I use, and it's called Win Streak. And so my practice is every night before I go to bed, I open the app and I list out what I was grateful for that day.
Ah.
And it's such a delicious way to kind of wrap up the day
Mhm.
and fall into this sleep feeling grateful.
Mhm.
I love that you shared that.
Yeah, so yeah, that's an awesome thing as well. When you think back over your day and you think about the best things and what you're grateful for, you can't help but have a restful sleep after that. Just when you think about the entire day, you don't want to go to bed, angry or upset or thinking about things that you didn't do. So that's fabulous that you do that. And
Mm.
you said it was win streak.
Win streak.
Okay.
Yeah. Check it.
Awesome.
So I'm curious. So for those who are in service roles and always pouring their energy into others, you're someone who is always making sure everyone else is good and has what they need. And so if I would ask you what what does Ericka need right now? What does Ericka need to feel, even if it could be small or big, that would really allow you to feel that your needs are met and that you're fully supported? What comes to mind?
Oh, five love languages. So for me, my top love language is appreciation. So that is what gets me going. So it's like, as long as I know I'm appreciated, I am good.
I love that you know about that. Know that about yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a great book that I read, and I read that years ago. And it's helped me in so many other relationships to know what their love language is, and that I guess it negates a lot of fighting back and forth to know, okay, well, mine is appreciation, mine is quality time, but somebody else's is gifts, somebody else's is acts of service. So I know I can tell you, you know, um, verbally some things, but if your love language is acts of service, you won't feel appreciated, you won't feel loved. So, I just found that book to be just very important.
It's so good. So good.
Hmm. Hmm.
So who makes you feel appreciated?
Me.
Mm.
It all starts with me, and if that's selfish, so be it. And I say that because at the end of the day, I can't let what other people's feelings are affect who I am. Um, because as you said, it's kind of like if I'm having a good day or a bad day, and I take that out on you. Uh, I can't let that affect me, because my emotions would then be all over the place. So if I start with me and loving me and appreciating me, everything else will fall into place. Like I have on a mirror in my bathroom, I am good enough.
Mm.
And it's funny, I don't always look at it every day, even though it's on the mirror. But it's there to just remind myself I am good enough.
Mm. I love I love this because it speaks so much to your how you live your life and how you choose to take responsibility for your life, because really we can either live as a victim or a victor, and you wake up
Mhm.
and choose victor every day. And I recently read a story of a woman who was on the hunt to find her love, to find a relationship. And the shift was when, instead of seeking the love out here, she just started to love herself more.
Mm.
And lo and behold, a person showed up.
Go figure.
She started doing that. So what you just shared is profound for so many reasons, but especially for the women that will watch this and hear this. We tend to often think that if we're taking care of us first, that can be selfish, when
Hmm.
in theory, the more full we are, the more overflow we have to give to those around us.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. That's a whole self-love, self-care movement, and it's nothing wrong with it. You can't pour from an empty cup, so you definitely have to take care of self.
Absolutely. Wow. Is there anything that you want to put out there or kind of close with before we end the call?
Um, just appreciate it. My time with you here, I don't have to be perfect. I can embrace the mess. So that's definitely a shift in mindset. And, you know, thinking you have this feeling of perfectionism that everything has to be perfect, but to know that it's okay not to be perfect, and in that there is perfectness in not being perfect. So, just I'm going to enjoy my next 30 days. I will follow up with you to let you know how everything went out. So, yeah, that is just thank you for this opportunity. It was great seeing you today.
Oh, it was such a pleasure. You're such a light, and I can't wait to see what this year has in store for you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm on my way to 100.
Yeah, easy.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
day at a time, one day at a time.
That is right. That is right.
Amazing. Well, all my love to you. Thank you for being here with us today, and have an amazing rest of your week. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. Bye bye, Stephanie.
Bye.
Bye, ladies.